Our first presenter in this session is my colleague, Lars Nyre, Professor of Media Design at the Department of Information Science and Media Studies. Locally and nationally, Lars is known and respected as an incredibly energetic and popular teacher with a unique take on teaching and learning. And his talk is titled Innovation Pedagogy for Experimental Journalism.
Thank you, Evan. Very nice words you had to say. So I'll have to repeat, my title is Innovation Pedagogy for Experimental Journalism, 5 years of experience in Viz Media. And if we had had 5 more years, I'm sure we would have made the technology we just saw in the video. Yes. So I have been teaching these modern, disruptive, strange media for many years, since 2008, and I will try to link this to also following up my the central themes that have been discussed so far today and bring in those educational perspectives that I'm mostly into. So I want to say that during times of rapid transformation in the media, it is important to explore the potential of new technology in responsible ways. The futures of the media can be created at least partly by academic researchers and our students. New technologies such as drones, virtual reality, and eye tracking have potential for journalistic innovation, but how do we explore these potentials? And what may we find? It is a difficult job, but it is our duty as academics to dig into this matter. So, beware of the future. Digital technologies create what many call permanent disruption. It has been discussed a lot today at this conference. You could say that industrial mutations incessantly revolutionize established practices, disrupting and replacing professions that have existed for decades or maybe even centuries. There is no established knowledge, no academic expertise, and no tradition to help us with these new things or with the ways that they change things. For 5 years, Viz Media has involved students in our investigations of new visual technologies. Young people are, for good and bad, as a cliché and as a real critical force, the true explorers of new technological terrain. Viz Media has explored teaching methods that can help students to deal competently and confidently with disruptive technologies. The exploration is essential and will have to continue beyond Viz Media. So, the innovation culture of new media, including its skills, practices, and values, was developed in Silicon Valley, to simplify a little bit. Entrepreneurs and companies over there have developed the lion's share of mobile apps, AI solutions, and other digital infrastructures. These have been imported wholesale to Norway and other smaller countries, and we have had no choice but to accept them. So, my slogan is, I'd rather go to Bergen Valley than to Silicon Valley. The Norwegian media industry have to equip themselves with independently owned technology to stop Facebook and Google from taking over content production, advertising, and innovation. Local media must make their own designs that fit with our towns and villages and our fjords and mountain valleys. So, local academics must help. We must take part in the design of media solutions and build normative qualities into them. Media design is one approach or one name for a way to explore the capacity of new technology to support quality journalism, other types of media production, local ownership, nynorsk language, and participation from regular citizens in the public sphere. So media design wants to contribute to an adaptation of skills and practices in journalism and other types of media production so that they fit better with new media. Senior academics must inspire students to contribute to this local technology development. These youngsters will soon enough become important people in NRK, TV 2, Bergens Tidende, and Askøyværingen. So from these positions, they will shape the public sphere and its qualities in the future. We have to inspire them while they are at the university. So, innovation pedagogy is an approach that attempts to do exactly this. These ideals that I'm projecting can be partly, or at least we can attempt to implement these ideals by teaching students to participate in the design of media that will presumably be important in the future. The method consists of exposing students to a strong sense of uncertainty in a planned way, so that they become robust, if you still can accept that word. The theorist Lotte Darse, a Danish innovation theorist, says it like this: "It is about helping the students to learn how to live with permanent uncertainty in a fragile world full of paradoxes that cannot be solved. They must be taught to believe in themselves, to have self-confidence, and to be able to motivate themselves." Successful innovation pedagogy makes the students able to take charge of technology explorations that have a risk of not being mastered by themselves, a risk of not being completed for various reasons, and also they are taught how to take responsibility for these projects in public settings, like if the minister visits and you will have to show what you are good for. In this way, students are forced, you could say, to become used to change. They will be better able to deal with these disruptive innovations and better able to infuse these novelties with democratic values or with other important values. And this behavioral quality can be called innovation competence. These words are kind of similar to each other, but you could say that innovation pedagogy results in innovation competence if it is successful. There is also traditional pedagogy. It's basically about handing over established knowledge and techniques to novices, to beginners. So the experts train the young people to do things the right way. There may be 150 students in the classroom, and they may all learn the same in exactly the same way. And while this type of pedagogy is valuable for many purposes, for example, fundamental mathematics, that doesn't change so often, it doesn't work so well in contexts where both the industry, the teachers, and the students are overwhelmed by new technologies and by new possibilities that are not included in the established pedagogy. So, in the 5 years that Viz Media was active, we provided students with access to technologies that have these characteristics that I'm talking about. They had previously not been explored in our local university context. But Viz Media allowed us to buy drones, 360 cameras, VR headsets, eye-tracking equipment, and even robots. Students were put in charge of explorations that neither teachers nor industry people were experts on. The students became the innovators, while the teachers assisted them in the attempt. Quick image of drone flying rehearsals or training. In 2016 and 2017, students designed prototypes of drone applications for journalism. Here we see two of them. Synced is a service to provide high-quality sound along the film path of a drone, and it is suitable especially for nature documentary filmmakers. 3Drone is a service for automatic scanning and 3D modeling of outdoor structures like houses and ships, and it is also suitable for filmmakers. These were not made as actual products, but they were made as prototypes that showed the principles. Several of these things have become more common as time has progressed. I will stop at this for a little while. D-Rig is an automated camera drone to assist a journalist who needs to produce video recordings all by herself because of a lack of salary for more journalists to go out together, for example. And it is suitable for local newspapers and regional TV stations. One of the students explained her motivation like this. We thought about the requirement that it should be useful for a journalist and saw that there were no particular products in that sector. So we decided to create the drone rig, where a TV journalist can go out and do a live report alone if there is no camera person available. She will not need to take a course in drone flying to be able to use the drone rig. She just grabs it and runs. So this was a fun project, no doubt, and it is easy to notice how experimental it is. D-Rig is radical because it presumes breaking the rules. The regulations specify that a drone cannot be used without notifying everybody in its flight path and also having a team of at least 2 or 3 skilled persons to supervise the flight. Their prototype of a drone camera assistant for breaking news would be impossible to realize as long as the current rules apply, but it is a good idea nevertheless, and it is an example of the students' natural ability to be inventive, daring, and at the same time pragmatic. So these projects could have become commercial successes, I'm sure. In 2020, we charged our students with another task of creating responsible climate communication and attempt to attract a young audience for it. They were to find out what kind of visual design mobile apps could have in order to present the gravity of climate change in the best way. The students used eye tracking, stress bracelets, and also traditional interview methods to find out how people reacted to everything from newspaper articles to interactive installations at the museum. On the basis of the evaluations, the students made prototypes that communicate climate change information in a, presumably at least, more efficient way than existing solutions and existing news coverage. The goal was to make users more knowledgeable about their own positive and negative contributions to climate change. Bergen Climate Travel presents local climate change right in front of you. With the help of AR technology and your smartphone's camera, the app visualizes a time travel that shows how Bergen is influenced by climate change. This concept was quite successful, actually, and it is now about to become a product in collaboration with Fløibanen AS in a potential, or at least there is an exploration of this possibility this semester. So I have one more example. Pedagogy, with a wonderful name, attempts to foster responsibility and commitment. The user takes on weekly behavioral challenges, such as cycling to work or not eating meat for a week. If you fail, the globe avatar will suffer. The Pedagogy application reacts to your physical activities as well as your purchasing habits and turns the surveillance potential of smartwatches and mobile phones into a, presumably again, benign tool for cataloging your climate footprint. Okay, so although this media ends, innovation pedagogy for experimental journalism continues under a new name. The funding body DIKU has granted 5 million Norwegian kroner for further development of innovation pedagogy. The work we did in this media was instrumental to this new success. We can now focus even more actively on practical explorations of new technology. We can develop more subtle value orientations, more complex didactical methods, and more advanced theoretical underpinnings for our projects. And this project will run for 3 years, from 2021 to 2023. Final slide, robotics. Robots is the next level in educational experimentation. In 2020, we had master students making Peter, the personal trainer robot. It draws on your health record to present the best possible training regime for your body. And AI cybernetics governs the exercises down to the very last detail. If it were realized as a product, it would surely revolutionize the training gym industry. Young people are concerned about the future, and they are able and ready to take responsibility. So they will be able to take charge of the incessant flow of disruptive technologies and make the best out of them. They are unafraid to criticize bad solutions and are motivated to make attempt after attempt at succeeding with good, responsible, locally relevant solutions. So nobody is better placed than them to stop Facebook, Google, and other multinational companies from taking over innovation and design in our country. This is the social energy that innovation pedagogy must channel and cultivate into a responsible research and innovation paradigm for the future. Thank you.